CrowdStrike causes a worldwide IT outage, whilst Google raises eyebrows by reversing their plan to kill cookies. Best Buy transform their purpose and introduce a spokeshologram, and Ikea double down on convenience with plans to be significantly closer to far more customers. All of this and much more in today's episode of The Retail Show. Hello and welcome to The Retail Show, the weekly podcast with useful news and relevant views. I'm your host, Oliver Banks. I'm a retail transformation specialist. I'm a consultant, a podcaster, an author, a speaker, and I'm here to help you understand the ever-evolving world of retail and to navigate the disruption and change it brings. So as usual, we'll kick off the show with news you can use, our segment to explore the key headlines from the world of retail with some thought-provoking ideas to help you take action. So first up, the big news story of the week, as I'm sure you are aware, is the CrowdStrike issue. We saw major IT outage across the world. It's undoubtedly caused loads of headaches. It's captured lots of press stories as many Windows systems suffered the infamous blue screen of death. And we saw all sorts of industries wiped out and needing to revert back to manual paper processes. In the travel industry, we saw flights cancelled or delayed. We saw handwritten plane tickets and departure boards. Whilst in healthcare, medical appointments were cancelled and people had to revert to handwritten prescriptions. TV broadcasts went off air completely, whilst of course in our retail world, the notable impact was in physical stores where many had to revert to cash payments only for a relatively short period of time, thankfully. There were loads of instances, I'm sure you've heard about them, with great customer service and appalling customer service. And our point to reflect on today is around the power of people and how people can really be a differentiator in these crisis moments. The co-founder of Southwest Airlines, Herb Kelleher, was famous for saying, "Culture is what happens when no one is looking." Well, I have a corollary that I'd like to share with you on this, and that is culture is how we behave when we're not sure what to do. And we saw many instances of companies with a genuine customer-centric culture, and we also saw many instances of companies without a genuine customer-centric culture. So reflect, what happened when the IT systems went down in your organisation? How customer-centric were your colleagues? How customer-centric were you? And if you'd like to expand more on this idea and other learnings from the CrowdStrike outage, then check out episode 304, the latest episode 304 of the Retail Transformation Show podcast, the sister podcast to this show. So join me on the other channel. Google reversed their long-term plan to remove cookies from the Chrome browser. Instead, they've announced they are pursuing an, and I quote, updated approach. And the aim here is to allow customers to opt in or out, which to me sounds a lot like the solution that is already in place, with cookie pop-ups and the ability to agree or reject. The plan to remove cookies was actually announced initially 4 years ago and has suffered its own fair share of setbacks over those 4 years. But by announcing they are essentially pulling away from that plan, it eases the strain for many companies. To me, it was really similar to the GDPR implementation that happened a few years ago. And insight suggests that many companies seem to be leaving any form of response to this move by Google to the last minute. And in many respects, it seems that was the right approach. However, this move was for the Chrome browser only, and other browsers from other companies, most notably Apple, have already made their plays on removing or restricting cookies. And with or without cookies, we're in a world where first-party data is becoming increasingly important for customer insight and for personalization. So it would be very easy to see this headline and decide there's nothing to do here, there's nothing to reflect on. But given the importance of first-party data, and given the fact that that doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon, how are you going to review your first-party data strategy and adjust it to generate personalized, genuinely personalized shopping experiences? US technology retailer Best Buy are looking to reimagine how they present themselves to customers. With a new purpose, a new tagline, and other initiatives, they are looking to focus in on helping customers to discover and explore new technology. And to support this new purpose of helping customers discover new technology, they've also announced a new tagline that really captures that. And the tagline is, Imagine That. It leans into that exploratory phase that they want customers to go on. It highlights that there are fantastical tech solutions that seem so futuristic but actually are available now. And to support their Imagine That tagline and their new purpose, they've actually appointed a spokesperson, a spokeshologram named Graham, who is going to become an increasingly familiar character in their ads and their marketing collateral. But what I really like about this particular story is that it's tying together a number of different transformative elements from their strategy, some of which we've seen and some they've only just hinted at. So some of these elements include new features on their app for personalized shopping, a focus on shoppable videos to help customers see and understand the products beyond static images and tech specs. There's been an increased focus on meaningful video content to help customers learn about technologies, not just products. Later on this year, we're going to be seeing more experiential spaces in their stores that feature the latest tech and partnerships with tech brands. And in collaboration with Google, there's going to be upgraded tech support in both human and AI formats that allow customers to choose. So lots going on at Best Buy, a really big transformation. And purpose is a common conversation topic, arguably overused. And with that, I find that many new purpose statements seem to end up as little more than empty words. But when you get your purpose right, it should immediately spark all sorts of imaginative ideas about what you could do, how you could present that to customers. And Best Buy have done this really well. And I love how so many of their initiatives in recent times and going forward look to fall back and align into this purpose. It's just as it should be. So perhaps it's time to review your purpose. Does it immediately and continually conjure up the energy and the excitement about how you could present it to customers? If so, what's next in your transformation? And if it's not conjuring up that energy and the excitement, is it perhaps time to reimagine or reinvigorate your purpose? In the UK, Ikea is looking to double down on convenience, quite literally. They're looking to double their click and collect points through Tesco stores, taking them from 100 collection points to 200 collection points. Ikea's traditional big box model has always struggled to reach a large percentage of the UK population, or any population for that matter. But this new model, the partnership with Tesco, creates a new collection point from the car park. Quite literally, a van in the car park which brings the product in and serves customers directly from it. And this next planned expansion means that 90% of UK consumers are going to be within 5 miles of a collection point. And this is also aligned to Ikea's other focus on small format stores that again make the brand more accessible to more consumers. And we've seen them experimenting with that and expanding to more small stores in recent years. But just coming back to the main story, and in particular the partnership element. Partnerships make sense, and we're seeing more and more retailers partnering together. And in particular, supermarkets are well placed to partner with brands and other retailers because supermarkets have a great network of stores which tend to be in convenient location for consumers. The supermarkets also tend to have a natural opportunity for car parks or convenient public transport, making it great for collection type missions. And supermarkets are also open to partnerships because often they have spare space or the space can be more productive. So they're open to explore new alternatives that help differentiate in the highly competitive grocery segment. So perhaps it's time to consider how a partnership could work with a grocer. What could your brand bring to the party? Is there a good synergy between your customer base? Or if you're a grocer, what brands would your customers aspire to shop with or from? Again, look at what's in it for the customer, look at what's in it for the lead retailer and also for the supporting retailer. Perhaps partnerships are a good opportunity for you to explore. John Lewis is unlocking a new repair proposition in collaboration with Timpsons. They're trialling this repair proposition in 5 stores, and it allows customers to bring in homewares and fashion items for repairs or adjustments. Timpsons MD, Will Langston, says, "Our service is well established within the industry, and we have an excellent team of specialists who undertake all our work and take a real pride and passion in all that they do. We look forward to working with John Lewis on developing this service over the coming weeks and months." And just leaning on that last point there, on the quote from Timpsons MD, this has been announced as a 16-week trial, and they are setting up an expectation of test and learn. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two brands, how this partnership continues on. And hopefully we'll see that 16-week trial extend in time and of course open in more stores. But repair is a huge business opportunity, and it's a new business model for retailers that is driven by sustainability and the circular economy. So explore more about this and other new business models driven by sustainability in episode 181 of the Retail Transformation Show. And there you're going to find 6 other business models, so do go and check out episode 181 to find out more. Amazon's Prime Day promotion seems to have been a success. They've not announced details, but they have said that they saw record sales and a record number of items sold as well. Independent data from Adobe Analytics saw online spending leap 11% in the US and nearly 9% in the UK relative to the same event in 2023. Now, of course, we can't forget there is an element of inflation baked into those numbers, but it seems like there is a residual volume boost which aligns to Amazon's commentary as well. And this is online spending across all retailers. But of course, we saw many other retailers announce competitive promotions and discount activity. And those numbers certainly seem like a healthy boost over the regular online growth of, say, 1.3% year on year for June in the UK, and what's ultimately a decline in volume for the overall retail industry. Interestingly, Amazon also announced that they had seen a record number of customers sign up for their Prime subscription in the 3 weeks prior to Prime Day. So it's interesting that that is driving membership. However, we also need to consider that there is a standard 30-day free trial period. That means you could very easily sign up to Prime 3 weeks beforehand, take part in Prime Day, and then cancel before becoming a paying subscriber. So I don't imagine we'd ever find out the details from Amazon, But I wonder how many of these record number of people signing up are going to actually be signing off as well very shortly. Now, subscription models are not new news, and there are plenty of other retailers that offer a model similar to Prime. But these subscriptions are also offered all year round. It's always a good time to buy into, let's say, a delivery subscription or similar, but it's never a great time. But Amazon have challenged this. Amazon have said it's a great time to sign up to Prime to access the Prime Day benefits. And they've seen that boost in subscriber numbers. Prime Day encourages customers to make a decision. It adds an element of urgency to an otherwise always available proposition. So if you offer a subscription model, what is it you are going to do to add an element of urgency to your proposition? Another company that has attracted a certain amount of attention through their subscription model this week is Coffee Shop Pret, who've decided to dramatically alter their subscription proposition and how their whole subscription model works. Now, they launched their subscription in the middle of the COVID period, and this originally offered up to 5 free coffees a day, as well as discounts on their food. But the new revamped model really changes this. Firstly, there's a reduced monthly fee. That's great news, but in exchange for that, the proposition is now 50% off 5 coffees per day. So it's essentially reducing the monthly fee, making it more accessible to more customers, but the proposition isn't as good. It is a discount on your standard coffee bill, essentially. And Pret have announced this and have suggested that their focus is on delivering better value for all customers rather than great value for a very small but elite group of their customers. And this seems to make sense. I don't have the details on their numbers, of course, but for me, I like the thinking here. But I also like the fact that they are continuing to adapt and evolve. We talk about test and learn an awful lot, but it doesn't mean that test and learn has to have an endpoint where we lock a particular proposition or operating model or business model, whatever, in forever. It's okay to continue to adjust. Now, of course, there are implications to change, and there is a sensible level where if you surpass that and you deliver excessive number of changes, then it becomes beyond frustrating and confusing for everyone involved, especially customers. So consider what parts of your proposition are perhaps due for a review. Maybe there is an aspect of the business that feels like it's locked in, but maybe it's time to do a little bit more test and learn. China is seeing a financial slowdown, and sales in the region have been reported to have dropped by 27%. The big shift here is in the middle class, where customers seem to be saving on big-ticket items, and that dwindling demand is having a sizable impact. Bain have actually found that wealthier customers are also not flaunting their riches and are opting for a little bit more discretion in the region. And following from that insight, a number of luxury fashion brands have shown mediocre or poor trading performance, which seems to back that up. But for China, this is coming off a period of prolonged and exciting growth. And the premium market out there has been estimated to have tripled since 2017. So it has seen some huge growth numbers, but I wonder, has it expanded too far? And in recent years, we've seen a number of brands, especially luxury brands, focusing in on China. And this is really pointing to the sensible approach of not having all of your eggs in one basket, not focusing every single piece of investment into one territory. And I know that there are retailers and brands out there that have seen a lot of success by spread betting across the world. So when one region is booming, it can make up the profit for the whole group. But if that region were to go into decline, then actually there is another region around the world, more often than not, that can pick up the slack and still deliver the group profit numbers. So do you have this spread betting approach to international retail? Or are you making major investments into one particular market that perhaps could open up some risk for you? So tons of retail stories in this week's News You Can Use section. Which stories really stood out for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or maybe share your thoughts in a post and tag me in. This week we are returning to our book club segment, where we take a short reading from a retail book or a related book with some thoughts for reflection. And this week, the reading is from a fantastic book, I might say. You might guess what it is. It's a reading from Driving Retail Transformation, which is my book. And it's all about how to navigate disruption and change. And in particular, I'm picking up on the uncertainty and the unknowns that we've experienced in the past week. And it's from a section called Playing with Uncertainty. Here goes. Exposing ourselves to uncertainty is one way to become more comfortable with the unknown. However, as the pace of change continues, we'll probably be sitting here in 5 years thinking that everything was so predictable back then. So we need more than just exposure to the standard levels of uncertainty. We need to learn to play with it. Young children may feel nervous when first engaging with a new toy, person, or location. There is a feeling of danger and fear. But in time, they learn the rules, conquer the overwhelm, and become more confident. As they explore and succeed, recognizing that nothing bad has happened, they form new neural connections which allow the brain to better cope with the situation and similar future situations. In time, human brains develop to assess risk and possibility at a hugely complex scale, naturally filtering out the irrelevant possibilities and focusing on the most likely and most impactful outcomes. As children face new uncertain experiences, practice and persistence leads to confidence and progress. Dealing with uncertainty is similar for adults. So how can we learn to play with uncertainty? So that's a little reading there from a chapter called Overcoming the Uncertainty and Unknowns. And I go on to share 3 activities that you can do to help become more comfortable with uncertainty. And those 3 activities are called Challenge Your Certainties, Extreme Scenario Planning, and the 3-Question Future. But my question to you is that final question from the reading. How are you going to learn to play with uncertainty? And more precisely, what is it you're going to do this week to learn to play with uncertainty? I hope that provokes some new thinking for you. And if you'd like to know more, then you can pick up your copy of Driving Retail Transformation from anywhere that you'd like to buy books, whether that's Amazon, whether that's your local bookstore, national chain, independent, whatever. Go in and ask for Driving Retail Transformation, how to navigate disruption and change. And you can find out more about my book at drivingretailtransformation.com. And finally, the bakery Greggs and the bank Monzo have partnered up to launch a one-day only pop-up ATM dispensing sausage rolls. It's dubbed ATM, and it took place in Newcastle. And as you might imagine, given it was a one-day pop-up, it is more of a guerrilla-style marketing activity to attract lots of PR. But it did put a smile on my face. But the partnership is more than just this slight gimmick, right? One of the regular perks for Monzo customers is free Greggs food, so I think this is a nice little tie-up. And I'm sure Monzo will see a number of new customers in Greggs Heartland, Newcastle area, and I'm sure Greggs will have seen a good PR boost from their latest guerrilla-style marketing approach. So I'm sorry if you missed the sausage roll ATM, but if you don't follow Greggs on social media, it's absolutely worthwhile. They do some great cheeky marketing, such as their extraordinary packaging for the vegan sausage roll, or clever hijacking of Christmas windows. So do go and check them out and keep up to speed. And I hope this has brought a little smile to your face. If you've enjoyed this episode of The Retail Show, I would be enormously grateful if you could please share it with your colleagues and contacts. You can tell people that the podcast is available in all of the usual podcast apps, but you can also send them to the website, theretailshow.uk. That is www.theretailshow.uk. Every week, my aim is to bring you useful news with relevant views to help you understand the ever-evolving world of retail. And I'd love to hear your feedback. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm Oliver Banks. I really appreciate your support, and I'm enormously grateful for any recommendations to help spread the word about the Retail Show. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll look forward to joining you on next week's episode. Bye for now.